What's up, everybody? We get in that shot, will you? What's up, everybody? We are live. This is the When Toons Combine YouTube channel. This is the Cartoon Classic, the finals, and it is Batman versus Pokemon. Of course, I am your host, Dutchie. Sitting next to me, out of the camera frame, but that's because we're a little camera in the corner. Money E is sitting right next to me.
What's up?
It's taking everything out of me not to be inappropriate. In a obscure location, I think somewhere in witness protection, Sean is here.
Hello.
And from his usual spot, we have our wild card Dave.
What up?
What up?
All right. So it was a long road to get here. Only a few tantrums. But it is Batman versus Pokemon in the final. Now, because it is the final, and we want to do a little something different, what we're going to do is, instead of doing the 7 categories in the same order that we have been doing it the last couple of months, we are going to do I have the randomizer, as you see on the screen. And what we are going to do is we are going to randomize what order the categories are going to be in. That way we can't necessarily tell who's actually going to win, and what the scores are going to be towards the end. So, but before we get into that, obviously like and subscribe to the When Toons Combine YouTube channel. Also follow Dave and Sean on Twitch, and Sean also on TikTok. Sean at TCAX Reaper, Dave at TCAX Godsend 95. Follow or make sure to subscribe to Eric's Unscripted Sports Show YouTube channel. Subscribe to the Wrestling Through the Years as well, and Dangle and Mindy Stabcast YouTube channel, and also the Dizzleverse on YouTube. You just watch Dangle play some video games. I'll make sure to plug all that at the end too. Also, after we get done with this battle, depending on how much time we have, we are going to draft more teams for the Animated Anarchy Series. We did 5 last week. I'm hoping to get some big names that are kind of more connected to each of our lives, in this. If not, we are doing a pre-recorded episode later that's going to be released later on in the week. But as always, before the battle, we have 7 categories. They're going to be in different order, but the order we usually have them in is theme song, animation quality, humor, or originality and creativity, characters, episodes, humor and entertainment value, and cultural impact and legacy. But we are going to do it in a different order today. So as you see, I'm going to hit the button one more time, and then I'm going to let everybody know what order we are going to do them in. So, and here's how it's going to go. The first category we're going to do is animation quality. So we're starting with that. Then we're going to do episodes. Then humor and entertainment value.
Mm-hmm.
Theme song is going to be 4th. Then characters. Then legacy, cultural impact and legacy. And then originality and creativity. So depending on how all that goes, that is the order of these 7 categories. So I'm going to stop sharing this screen. I'm going to get out of here. All right, we're back to normal size. Well, I'm usually a little subnormal, but all right. So let's go ahead and let's just get right into it, because we got a lot to get to. Animation quality is, and it's going to feel kind of weird doing these in a different order.
It will.
Yeah, but it was also Sean's idea, so if it doesn't work out the way we want to, we know who we're blaming.
Me.
Yep, it's Eric.
Yeah, I can live with that too. All right, animation quality. Pokemon, of course, has that Japanese animation, because that's where it started. And it's animation that, it's kind of wonky at first, but then like, as all animation is, but then it gets moving, as the episodes go on. Batman's animation is just that standard, and it's the perfect animation for like battle sequences and stuff.
Yeah.
So both animations are pretty cool. Batman, especially with the like I said, the battle sequences and even the Pokemon battles, like that animation really helps that. If you do like Japanese and the Japanese animation style, which I know you guys, or at least the one on the bottom does, likes that Japanese animation style.
Yeah, I do. I love it.
Yeah,
It's good.
so
They do an excellent job.
yeah, exactly. And some of the animes that I've seen have actually been pretty good too, because we have to watch them for the Animated Anarchy series. But all right, let's not waste any time. Eric, I'm gonna go right to you, so that maybe you can get in the frame of the camera.
There you go.
And get your hand away from anyway. But so who did the animation? Who has the better animation? Who wins the category here? Batman or Pokemon? I guess I made a mistake starting with him.
Into Pokemon.
Okay.
I just think their quality was just a tad better.
All right. Sean, I'll go to you next.
I'm going to go with Batman on this one, actually. I think the action sequences were just better graphically.
Okay. Wild card, you get to break your first tie here.
On this one, I'm gonna have to back Eric on the animation quality. I think animating all different types of Pokemon and all different types of moves that they're using, like water, fire, electricity. That takes a little bit of skill to make each one stand out on its own and whatnot. So I think it takes a little more. I do really love the Batman animation, but I think Pokemon just tips out a little bit more on this one.
Right. Now, it's funny. So if we go back into the archives here of the battles, Batman in their last two attempts, again, this is Batman's third battle in the single elimination tournament, and they've whooped every time 4-1. They have won the animation quality category.
What was the one that they lost in each one?
In the one against SpongeBob, they lost theme song. Last week against the Simpsons, they lost originality and creativity.
Okay.
Now Pokemon lost in the animation quality category to Ninja Turtles. They got swept. And they got swept in the animation quality category against Rugrats.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Now, hold on. I can go back a little bit further here, I think. And when they took on Real Ghostbusters. No, they beat Ghostbusters in the animation quality category.
2-1.
3-0.
Oh.
So... All right.
I guess it depends who they're up against, too.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. Sean looks like he's posing for a calendar. The month of July, right there, folks.
Yeah. On your monthly fireman's calendar.
Yeah.
Farmer can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see, Countryside Mobile Homes.
The 2 shades of Sean.
Yeah. So Pokemon wins that first category. They haven't won that category in a while, but again, like Dave said, it really does depend on who you're up against.
Yeah.
Now, also, this is Pokemon's fourth battle in the single elimination tournament. Batman had the first round bye. Pokemon's road to the final was not as easy as Batman's. They had an easy first round match where they beat the real Ghostbusters 4-1. But then they had 2 back-to-back battles where they barely got the win. Now, they still got it, and they're here. But Ninja Turtles and Rugrats gave them a run for their money. Nobody has given Batman a run for their money yet. At least until tonight. Maybe. All
Let's
right.
see.
We're going to move on to episodes.
Ooh.
Pokemon's episodes, obviously. The pilot episode is where Ash oversleeps. And he ends up with Pikachu as a Pokemon because that was the only Pokemon that was available. And with Pikachu didn't want to listen to Ash. You know, he steals Misty's bike in an episode, I think still in that first episode. And then, you know, there's episodes where they go to Pokemon World, or they don't know that it's Pokemon World, but it's going to be a theme park where there's giant Pokemon,
Yep.
but they think they're getting attacked by monsters, so they destroy all the robots. There's the episode where you know, they go to the land where you know, where they meet Squirtle for the first time, and Squirtle is or no, it's either Squirtle or Bulbasaur. I think it's Bulbasaur actually, where he's very protective of the other Pokemon on the island. But one thing you got to remember, and this is for both Pokemon and Batman, there's long story arcs and it's continuation. Like a lot of the time back in the day with the cartoons, it was okay, an episode goes by and then nothing that ever happens in an episode is referenced ever again. In these 2 shows, it is episodic to where it is a continuation of a story. Batman's, you know, we talked last week about the Mr. Freeze, you know, not Mr. Freeze, about Two-Face becoming Two-Face.
Yep.
And, you know, Harvey Dent becoming Two-Face, and, you know, that played out in a couple of episodes. There was, you know, another episode. I mean, and both shows have had great episodes. There was, you know, an episode where of Batman where they dug into Robin's past a little bit because Robin, you know, the man who killed Robin's parents, you know, showed up as a suspect, and Batman was trying to protect Robin by being a dick, but still trying to protect him, where he wouldn't let Robin in on the investigation. And they do a flashback of when Robin's parents died. But it's very, you know, the continuation is what really separates these 2 cartoons from the rest of the pack, which is why they're here. Sean, I'm going to start with you.
Yeah, so I'm picking Batman.
Okay.
I think the continuation and the character story build-ups throughout the episodes was just done better than Pokemon was.
Okay.
I think there was always something like look more forward to, and like the build-up behind the story arc was just a lot better than what Pokemon was doing at the time.
All right. Dave, agree or disagree?
I agree with Sean. I think the episodes, because I like story and plot a little better than just action. So when you give characters a nice story, a nice background, like Joker and Two-Face, and you know these other characters that aren't just the main character, it really intrigues me a lot more into the episode than like, let's go Pikachu, let's beat this guy. You know, like, yeah, I get it. Ash is trying to catch them all and be the very best, but you know, that's the same thing every episode.
Right.
They're
Yeah,
they're just
kinda got
battling Pokemon.
repetitive.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
repetitive.
competitively battle. It's nice, but I think Batman takes it just because of the plot and the story.
All right. Eric, it doesn't matter, but go ahead.
Yeah, it's gonna be a clean sweep. I agree with these guys. I like the story arc, and they had a better storylines.
Okay. All right, we're tied 1-1. Now, again, like I said, Batman has not gone 7 categories yet. Their magic number has been 4-1. Pokemon has done 7, so we're gonna see. It's been obviously it's been. Well, I mean, it's only been 2 weeks since we've had a battle go to 7. But we know we're not going to get a clean sweep here, which we really shouldn't if it's a final. Humor and entertainment value. Usually category number 6, and usually the category that settles most things. Not here. That's the beauty of mixing this stuff up. Again, it's 2 different categories. It's all right. Did the cartoon make you laugh? How entertained were you by some of the stuff that they were doing? Pokemon, you could say, all right, there's a little bit of cheesy humor into it, especially with Team Rocket, and super cheesy.
And sometimes Ash will make a couple disses towards Misty or something like that.
Oh,
you
he
know?
was always brutal to her.
Yeah.
He would roast her so bad, and it was it was so funny when he would.
Yeah.
100%.
But like so, but also too with the entertainment value of the Pokemon battles, that kind of really backs up the category. In Batman, you had Joker, obviously, who would make jokes that really weren't funny, but they were funny to him.
Mhm.
Batman would have kind of a dry sense of humor. But you could get some pretty good one-liners out of Harvey Bullock and out of maybe Alfred could throw a joke every once in a while, but also the battles were very entertaining. So you have 2 shows that the entertainment value as far as the action really, carries the category.
Inside.
So, all right, Dave, I'm going to start with you this time around.
Again, I'm going to have to go with Batman on this one. I just felt it was a little more entertaining just because, like you had episodes that progressed into more than one episode. I like the background into it a little better. I just feel like it's a little more entertaining. The superhero kind of guy with no actual powers, he just uses gadgets and he's pretty badass. But yeah, I just felt it was more entertaining watching him. I didn't think Pokemon was too humorous. It was pretty entertaining, the battles and whatnot, but like I said, they're all kind of the same kind of battles, just different powers. That's about it. Different abilities.
Okay. Eric?
I'm going Batman too. Older me says Batman, younger me would have said probably Pokemon.
Well, I'm glad we're dealing with the older. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that because Pokemon, I can definitely see where people are attracted to. I mean, I was a fan of it when I was a teenager.
Yeah, for sure. Same.
So,
I can sit and watch more Batman than sit and watch Pokemon.
Yeah.
Because it can get repetitive.
Right. All right. Sean, it doesn't matter, but go ahead.
I was going to pick Batman as well. I just think humor-wise, they were... How do I put this? So I feel like they were given a lot more leeway for what type of humor they could use.
Yeah.
Especially the vulgar language and stuff. It was more derived, I think, towards adults, and Pokemon was more derived towards like the 15 and under generation humor-wise.
Yeah.
Like there is times like when Dave brought up Ash, Roast, and Misty, like those were pretty entertaining and like very funny, honestly, but not anything like Batman. Batman was almost continuously funny and very entertaining because of the episodes building up story arcs or like, just the fighting sequences and the one-liners like you brought up from other characters. I just think they had a wider range of humor and entertainment.
Gotcha. Yeah. All right. Batman is up 2-1. That is going to change in a matter of moments because the next category is theme song. Now, Batman won the theme song category last week over The Simpsons because they have a really good action sequence. Okay. But there's no words to the theme song. Pokemon has words. And by the way, going back in my notes here,
They won theme song every.
they won theme song. They won theme song in.
I want to say every time.
Well, hold on, I'll tell you. Yeah, Pokemon has not lost the theme song category yet. Does that and now and again they have words and it's a very catchy song. I'm sure it's a lot of people's ringtones.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like singing it now, but I'm not going to sing it.
We'll get copyrighted and then I'll hit you in the nuts. That
actually might get us 1,000 views.
You don't really get copyrighted if you played the actual song, not if you said words.
some people are actually afraid to sing the song because they're afraid of getting copyrighted.
Yeah, well, as long as you don't sing the whole thing.
Yeah.
Or play the music behind it and sing it.
You never know with him.
I'm not going to sing because I'm a back singer, so.
Yeah. Yeah, and we don't want to crack my brother's computer screen. All right.
I feel like you're the songbird of your generation, Eric.
Oh.
Yeah, if the song... Anyway.
Dying Mary.
All right, so Sean, we're going to start with you on this one. Who wins the category?
Hands down, Pokemon. It is probably one of, if not the most catchiest theme songs for a cartoon anime show ever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just iconic. Like, Batman wasn't bad, but I think the only thing they had going for their theme song was the action.
Yeah, it was the action sequence.
Yeah. Pokemon I don't know, it made you look. It like drew your attention so quick. And just made you like, yeah, this song's fire.
Yeah. That's the main reason why I started watching the show back when I was a teenager.
Right. Yeah, I mean, everybody, even if you're not a Pokemon card dealer or whatever, like if you just seen the show once, you're gonna recognize it.
Yeah.
So
Dave, I'm pretty sure I already know where you're going, but we'll go to you next anyway.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Pokemon. Their theme song is just killer.
Yeah.
It's top notch. So I got it.
they never had to change it. They've only changed it, I think, for when they do like the spin-off Pokemon shows.
Well, they remixed it in season 4, didn't they?
Did they?
I had a season 4 episode on a couple weeks ago, and it was a remix.
Interesting.
I mean, still same words, but different music. I think playing behind it.
Huh.
Okay.
It doesn't matter, but go ahead.
Pokemon. They're probably top 3. I would say it's Flintstones, Pokemon.
Well, when we did a countdown of it a few years ago, it was I think they came in at what, 5?
Oh wow. Yeah.
Because I think it was Scooby-Doo came in at number 1.
Yep.
Simpsons came in at 2, SpongeBob 3, Flintstones 4, and then Pokemon came in at 5.
Yeah.
No
way SpongeBob's not in my top 3.
Well, you weren't the only one voting.
I know. I'm just saying.
Yeah. All right. So Pokemon, by the way, in every tournament battle, in every head-to-head tournament battle, Pokemon has only only one of you has ever gone against Pokemon in the theme song category. And Sean, that was you when it was Pokemon versus Rugrats.
Oh.
Dang.
So I don't remember the full extent why. It might have been the action sequence. I'm not sure. But all right, so we're tied.
Oh, I can tell you why. It's because of the animation of what the kids were doing throughout the theme song.
I mean,
Okay.
makes sense.
So
All right. Go ahead, Eric.
So they've only lost one. They've only got one vote against them in theme song.
In theme song, yeah.
Wow, that's impressive.
Now, in characters, before we go to that, I'll do the quick recap here. In the character category, obviously Batman has won in both of theirs. In characters, Pokemon beat Rugrats, but they lost to Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, that's obvious. Yeah.
Now, obviously, Pokemon is here and Ninja Turtles is not. So Pokemon obviously bested in other categories. But Pokemon, you have Ash, Misty, Brock. All of the Pokemon is in Pikachu, Charmander, Squirtle, Bulbasaur, Jigglypuff and Psyduck occasionally make appearances. You have Team Rocket, Jesse and James with Meowth and their other Pokemon, Onix and
Mewtwo.
Huh?
Mewtwo.
Yeah.
I think he was the only Pokemon that actually technically spoke words telepathically.
Yeah.
Well, no, Meowth talked.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying, like, right. Screw Mouth. No one likes that cat.
So,
Him off the air balloon.
So then you have those, all those, and plus a whole plethora of other Pokemon that make appearances. I can't necessarily remember all the names, but there's a lot of them. In Batman, you have Batman / Bruce Wayne, Alfred, Robin, who comes in. You have also Commissioner James Gordon, Harvey Bullock, who's one of the detectives, and you have, and this is what helps make the show, the villains: Joker, Harley Quinn, Two-Face, Riddler, Scarecrow, Catwoman, Poison Ivy, Mr. Freeze, Raja Ghul. If I'm missing anybody, I apologize, but still, like, both shows have a plethora of characters, and by the way, the characters in both shows are kind of, the characters in Pokemon, it's funny because, like, they are kind of featured, but the episode is always somehow about, like, Ash or Misty or Brock. And then, like, it can kind of be about the other Pokemon. In Batman, it's like the villains sometimes get their own episodes.
Right.
Oh, I've also been told by a live viewer, I can't forget Batman, the Penguin. So I appreciate the note there. So that's a good thing about having live viewers who are actually keeping up, and if I make a mistake, they can text me. So thank you, Aunt Lisa. But yeah, so you have the Penguin as well. Did I mention Catwoman?
No.
All right, well, her too.
I think so.
Zelina Kyle, technically, is her name. But so you have a whole plethora of characters. And by the way, they are, especially in Batman, the villains are made to feel important because they get featured and I'm not saying the Pokemon don't, because they do, but it's everybody gets featured.
Yep.
So I'll start with you first, Eric.
I'm going Batman here. They're more. You got more characters that are more recognized unless you know all the Pokemon offhand.
Right.
And even the side characters in the Batman is even more known.
All right, Sean, let's go to you next.
I'm also going to go with Batman. I think the characters were a lot more likable and just more well known.
Yep.
I think Pokemon just had way too many characters to keep up with, other than like the main, like Ash and Brock and Misty and his mom, the professor. Like, there's only a select few in Pokemon compared to like Batman. You're almost drawn to every single person they bring in. So I got to pick Batman on this one.
Okay. All right, Dave, doesn't necessarily matter, but go ahead.
Yeah, Batman, I feel like the characters were more detailed, more defined, and had a better backstory. And the story that we get to see also progress. I just feel like the characters were better. Um, gotta give it to them.
Okay.
I feel like Pokemon didn't like they had a couple episodes like with Ash and Pikachu and how they first came together and whatnot. Like, but I mean, you don't get a lot of that. With you don't get that with every Pokemon. You don't get that with everybody he meets. Like, oh hey, like he go like Pokemon, they'll go meet somebody in the episode, and then they're gone after that. You don't see 'em
Right.
for either a long time or never again. Um, so you
Now,
don't really learn much about other characters or anything like that. So besides like a little bit of Gary and a little bit of Misty and Brock, but it's not a huge amount of knowledge in those characters.
now, correct me if I'm wrong, Dave. I don't know the character's name in Pokemon, but she's like the police officer lady on a scooter that shows up literally everywhere Ash and his group go.
I know it's not Joy because she's the uh,
I can't remember her name. I just remember watching
Jenny,
a few episodes where they're at like
right?
at one place and then they travel and somehow she's just there already. Like she teleports everywhere where Ash and them go, and it drove me crazy. It was like them trying to really like push this one character, and it's just like I think you did them dirty pushing them that hard.
Yeah. But I think her name's Officer Jenny or something like that.
I can't remember. I just remember she just randomly appears like literally everywhere.
Yeah.
Like jurisdiction of the planet, apparently.
Shoot is running on their side.
What are you kids doing here?
All right. So Batman is up 3-2. They can win it in the next category.
Legacy.
But the next category is cultural impact and legacy. Now, here is the most interesting part. Batman has not had to go in this category yet. They had it because they've won, 4-1. Pokemon has had to go in this category twice, and by the way, this is the category that won them the battle. So, so there. Now, as far as their cultural impact and legacy, if you look at the cultural impact of both shows, Batman's always going to be Batman. Batman always has an impact on people, whether it be from the, and again, this is about the show, but Batman's always had an impact with its other media, media representations, whether it be the comic books, whether it be the movies, whether it be action figures, stuff like that. Video games. Pokemon, same thing. Video games, cards, stuff, plush dolls. I'm pretty sure there's been Pokemon movies.
Don't forget, they made a real Batmobile.
Yeah. So both have had cultural impact. Now the legacy, again, Batman is still technically, and now the impact, the legacy of this show is it is considered one of the top 3 animated shows of all time. Well, if you listen to Watch Mojo or watch Mojo, all right, it is listed at number 2 or number 2 or number 3, but still it is up there. So because this is like the first best representation of the DC animated universe. Pokemon's legacy is the fact that it's still very, again, just like Batman is still relevant, but Pokemon is still very relevant because people are still talking about it.
Yep.
Okay. So again, taking both factors into consideration, again, this is about the shows, but the the merchandise and all the other media representations really
that come after.
factor into the cultural impact and technically the legacy. Which is the same thing back a few weeks ago when Pokemon beat Ninja Turtles, but I wanted Ninja Turtles to win so bad that I threw a hissy fit. But
It was tough to pick between those.
Yeah. So, but it is, there are the other media representations and the other, other factors really do factor into the decision. Okay, how much of a cultural impact and a legacy did this leave? He's hemming and hawing over here, so I'm going to start, Dave, with you first.
I'm gonna go with Batman on this one. I think everyone knows Batman. You can say Batman, everyone knows that's Bruce Wayne. I feel like he's still relevant. I mean, I played the Batman games, like the Asylum one and stuff, where you're going around the city too, and
Arkham Knight.
Arkham Knight, yep, right there. You get to drive the Batmobile and stuff. Kids dress up Halloween as Batman still.
Yeah.
Everybody knows who he is. Everybody's, some of people, that's their favorite superhero. And he's a better character all around. Like, some people just love Pokemon and they love certain Pokemon, but there's, like Sean said before, there's so many of them you can't even know them all at this point because they just made the show longer and longer.
I just
know coming out with new ones too.
Yeah. There's so many new ones you can't even keep up with them. So
I know the basic ones.
So I feel like Pokemon's impact is slightly decreasing over time with all the new stuff that they're bringing out.
Okay.
I think they're hurting their cultural impact and their legacy a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want to go next?
Yeah. I'm gonna say
this
Pokemon.
was a tough one for me though.
Yeah. All right, you're gonna say Pokemon, so you're leaving the decision up to Sean.
Yep. I just think the culture impact for Pokemon slightly is a little greater.
Okay. All right. So Sean, I'm gonna build this up a little bit. All right. So just bear with me.
Okay.
Because again, if you say Batman wins, and we don't go to the last category.
Yep.
Now, if you say Pokemon, then that means that we do go to the next category, which is originality and creativity.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, no pressure. Although you have made a couple of big decisions over the last, in this entire tournament where some big stuff has come down to you, and I think Eric does that on purpose. So, all right, Sean, is the matchup over, or do we go another category?
So I like all the points Dave made about Bruce or Batman being still like really well liked and everybody like wants to be just like Bruce Wayne.
Don't just say you're going to pick the other one just because Dave picked the one.
No.
You used that argument already.
I'm wrapping it around. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a hard one because Pokemon's been around for so long. They got the games, they got the card.
Right.
But like we've just brought up too, is like they're bringing out way too many new stuff, and I think it's really tarnishing what they used to be. And I feel like instead of them focusing more on their anime shows, they're veering off to more of the cards again. So I got to pick Batman on this one.
Okay.
I think it's hard, but I think Batman is. They didn't have to really change up what they did to keep their legacy alive.
They stayed true.
They stayed to what they are. Like, even if they spin it off, the plots are half the time are pretty much the same between the characters.
Yeah.
And I think it means a lot more. Like, you get big named actors and stuff that want to come in and do the roles for some of these villains and for Batman and Robin and stuff. So I just think Batman has left a bigger impact actor wise than Pokemon could. Pokemon has the years, but I think Batman has the mental longevity of being relatable, cool, and just well all around loved more than Pokemon. Because, like we said, Pokemon keeps coming out with all these new stuff, getting real confusing to, decide what you want or who you side with during that show.
And it's not like,
and
it's not like if they wanted, like if they put out some new Pokemon movies or something, we're gonna go watch it. If they put a new Batman movie out, guess what? I'm gonna go watch that. You know
right.
what I mean?
If they did like a live action Pokemon, maybe.
Yeah. If they
But
did live
regardless,
action, I would definitely.
I think Heath Ledger, if we're going to talk about like the Batman side of it, I think Heath Ledger really gave Joker a top tier name, even though it's not it was a movie, not the cartoon.
Right.
But then Mark Hamill, I think he was by far the best thing that they could have ever done for that show.
Yeah.
And the cartoon set up for all these other shows to come after and all these movies to come after.
Exactly.
So,
and I'm normally the one to say, oh, it's not hard to recreate something out of a comic book, but this Batman animated series was a lot different than the comics.
Yeah.
So, I think Batman deserves it more than Pokemon, honestly.
Okay. All right. So it wasn't 4-1 like it had been for Batman. It was a little tougher. But Batman wins at 4-2. So Batman has won the Cartoon Classic. They survived a league battle where they beat Superman, Justice League, and Spider-Man the Animated Series. Then they had a first round bye. They beat SpongeBob, they beat The Simpsons, and now they beat Pokemon.
Those are pretty good shows too.
Yeah. And by the way, they did it. Pokemon was a little more difficult, but they did it. They did it pretty easily.
Yeah.
Now they win. So now whoever draws them for the Animated Anarchy series is going to be pretty happy, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Oh yeah.
Any of the remain like this, even the semifinals, like you still have a good chance to win a lot of battles.
Yeah.
Semifinals, the ones that made it to the finals. I mean,
Yeah.
they all have good opportunity to win battles because you never know who you're matched up against.
Yeah. And when we get to the playoff type thing, I mean, somebody could catch Batman off guard. Who knows? Because the categories are going to be
a lot of
different
shows too.
Yeah, exactly. You had a question. I'm going to let you go ahead before I go on a tangent.
I was going to say, I was just going curiosity what you guys would have chose for the last one.
For originality and creativity?
Yep. I don't know where I would have gone.
I would probably have still stuck with Batman on it.
I don't know. That's a tough one for me. I could have been like listening to you guys and what you would have had to say would have could have swayed me either way. Because
either way, that's it. That's another category Batman lost.
Yeah,
he lost last week
because Pokemon. It is kind of hard, like the creativity that goes into creating all the Pokemon to make their abilities and all that. That's very difficult to think of, and their evolutions and whatnot. So makes it real tough.
They're creative that way, but I think Batman had the more creative actors behind it to make it as good as it was.
I hear that. I hear that.
By
You
the
know,
way,
but
there is a
Bad
correction.
actors copying past actors or past how the Joker used to be or how Scarecrow used to be. Because Scarecrow in the movie, he was supposed to be like a tough, crazy guy, but in this show, he's a scaredy guy. Like he's
Yeah.
scared about like everything.
Yeah.
So
By
I
the way,
think,
or go ahead, Sean. Sorry.
I'm just saying, like I think stuff like that I didn't take into consideration in prior episodes, but the more I thought about it, I was like, it does really take a lot of creativity just from the voice actors to make that character pop.
Right. All right. Just a correction for something I said last week. I was talking about who would have voiced Joker, or who was originally supposed to voice Joker. I said Jim Carrey. I was wrong. It was actually actor Tim Curry,
That
who,
wouldn't have been a bad one. I don't think.
because he does a lot. He voiced the villain for the Mighty Ducks cartoon. A lot of people might remember him as the snooty hotel manager from Home Alone 2, Lost in New York.
And he is also the butler in the movie Clue.
Yeah. So, all right. Batman wins. Congratulations to Batman. It was a long road to get here, but they won. They are probably right now the favorite in the Animated Anarchy series. So now that means we transit. Oh, who would you have gone originally in creativity? You asked.
Pokemon.
All right. So all right, we have some time. We're gonna do a couple. We're gonna do a couple of them. We're gonna do a draft a couple of teams, and then I'm gonna because I'm sure your wife is about ready to go home, right, Sean?
Not right. Not at the moment.
All right. I was just gonna say because I do not want to.
I'm ready to leave. I just got here like an hour and a half ago. I'm already ready.
All right. So we'll spend about 10 minutes. We'll probably wrap it up in about at an hour. We're at about 47 minutes right now. So we'll wrap it up at the top of the hour, but we'll get a couple in, and then Dave, Eric, and I will pre-record and get some more teams drafted out. But all right, let me go to the share screen thing here. Share screen. Yep. All right. Obviously, you guys can see this, right? You can't read it, but you can see it.
Yep.
All right. Pull a name out of there, Eric, and just hand it to me.
Drum roll, please.
1. Oh, that is 1. All right, never mind. All right. This is a work chum of Eric's. Well, it's the work chum's husband.
Oh, Matt.
Yeah, Matt. I don't have a last name because it was never given to me. So, but I wrote down what his wife's name was, so I know exactly who it is. So he gets to go before his wife. We have not drawn any female names yet, and I think it's starting to bother me a little bit. All right. So we'll go ahead with the first pick for the night. He gets 4 in his division. So here we go. Let's see if he gets anybody good. I'm going to have it written down myself. Dave, do you want to pronounce that for me, please?
Yeah, it's Sekire, and I believe you spelled it wrong on here, but it's a story, kind of like women kind of battle it out like Pokemon. So like they get attached or bonded to a male, and then they battle for him in this like tournament type deal.
Okay. By the way, if I spelled it wrong, it is kind of your fault because I spelled it the way you sent it to me.
Oh, my apologies.
That's all right. I'm just saying, if we're throwing anybody under the bus,
I might have. Yeah, I might have spelled it wrong. I apologize.
Yeah. So, all right. So we start off with an anime. Sekiri has been taken off the board. Number 2 for Matt, Kelly's husband, friend of Eric's, or a co-worker of Eric's. And he gets Speed Racer. Not bad. Probably one of the. Would you guys say that Speed Racer is probably one of the original animes?
Close to it.
It's back there. Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's like a top 5 original, but it definitely wasn't too far from one of them.
Okay.
Doug, I sent you the actual spelling of Sakurai on Messenger.
Okay. All right, cool. So that way I can, I'll spell it right when I have it written down for his. Well, we'll spell it right when we have to do it for the actual episodes.
Yep.
All right. So he's got Sakurai, he's got Speed Racer, and next he is going to have. Does he even watch anime?
I don't know.
All right. Oh boy.
That's a good one.
Well, it definitely it helps his division, that's for sure. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, by the way.
Probably one of the favorites.
Yeah.
And your
How
favorite
about
show?
Doug? It's one of the favorites.
Yeah. Well, yeah, according to me, it's one of the favorites. I don't know if it's actually going to work or not. I mean, it was eliminated in the second round.
Well, the best thing about this upcoming tournament is how many different animes and cartoons there are in the mix.
Yeah. And by the way, how many shots you have at winning, because it's going to depend on your points and your win-loss record.
Yeah.
Because you're not just getting eliminated after one.
No.
I mean, it's not going to help if you lose like 20 of them. But yeah, so Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles off the board. You are writing this down too, right? You're going to put it in a.
Yep.
All right. So Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles off the board. That is the first big one to leave the board tonight. And then
First big one we have.
Well, Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
All right. So next up, this will be Matt's fourth. Solar Opposite.
Solar Opposite.
All right. I have a feeling that one of you two guys can explain it. I forgot who gave it.
That's me. So Solar Opposites is basically a alternate universe of Rick and Morty, only with aliens that they escape their destroyed home planet, land on Earth, and try to. Their whole mission is to change Earth back into their original planet.
Okay.
But obviously things don't go to plan, and it is voiced by the voice actors of Rick and Morty for the first, can't remember how many seasons they're at. If there's 7 seasons, they're the original actors up until like the last season.
All right.
Because
So
then one of the guys got in trouble and doesn't do it anymore.
now I'm glad that you said this, because you gave me, because when I asked you to replace one, you had already written Solar Opposites on your thing, but then you also said you were going to replace the one that I told you to replace with Rick and Morty, the anime. Is that the same thing?
It's the same creators.
But
So
it's,
you got like
it's
Rick
a
and
different
Morty.
thing, right?
You got Rick and Morty, and then Rick and Morty, the anime, they changed kind of the plot. It's kind of the same plot as Rick and Morty, but they made it animate.
But it's not the same as Solar Opposites.
No, same creators, but a whole different story.
Okay, that's
And
just what I'm looking.
It's really good. Like they go in depth with the characters. There's in later seasons you'll find, spoiler, you'll see like the 2 kid aliens have a wall and they shrink humans and put them in their wall as a habitat. And then there's a whole like 2 or 3 episodes strictly of just the people in the wall. So like they change it up pretty good, and it's actually really funny.
Okay.
So he lucked out. That's another good one, I think, in my opinion.
All right. Well, I think. All right. So he's got Sakurai, Speed Racer, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and Solar Opposites.
Yep.
All right. So that's a pretty good team. All right, Eric, go ahead. Draw another.
We do one more.
we'll do one more on this show, and then we'll get out of here so Sean can
Get home safe.
Oh boy. My mommy.
Just what you wanted.
Yeah. So, all right. We draw my mother, Sue Hummer.
Should we call it? No.
Not right now. So, all right. Draw her first one. And she gets Paw Patrol. So, all right, Paw Patrol's up. Does somebody want to try to explain Paw Patrol a little bit?
I can do it.
All right.
So Paw Patrol is about a teenage boy that kidnaps dogs on the side of the street and turns them into almost superhuman.
Jeez.
Superheroes, I should say. No, what it really is it's just a very popular kids show about a kid named Ryder that saves dogs, and they basically just fight crime, I guess, if you want to call it crime.
Okay.
They're just like the city protectors, and it's very kid show mentality. So, not a bad one.
Yeah. No,
Some of
not
the-
at all.
Good. But it's very, very popular right now.
Yeah. So, and I'm pretty sure she babysits kids who watch the show. So,
Yeah. Oh, it's everywhere.
yeah.
But no, it's a good show. It's a good show.
Yeah. All right. So her first draw was Paw Patrol. Second one. Let's see. See where the wheel lands. Demon Slayer.
Demon Slayer.
Dave.
There's an anime. So Demon Slayer. It follows a character named Tanjiro. He becomes a demon slayer after his entire family gets slaughtered by a demon, and then his sister becomes a demon. So he becomes a demon slayer and carries his sister around and on his backpack, basically in it, and then he fights demons.
Well,
Kind of graphic.
oh boy. I
Yeah.
don't know if I'm going to have her watch this.
It's not like awfully graphic, but it's graphic to an extent.
Yeah. All right. So she has Paw Patrol and Demon Slayer. I'm pretty sure Kelly's husband, Matt, has probably gotten a better draw so far, but we'll see. Mom's got two other opportunities here. And here we go. Her third pick. Who's going to join her division, part of Paw Patrol and Demon Slayer? My Life as a Teenage Robot. Who wants to take this one?
I've never even heard of it.
Me neither. I don't know who picked
Well,
it.
one of you wrote it.
Yeah, but like I said in last week, I picked a lot of episodes or shows that I haven't seen, so I have to watch them.
Yeah. I picked.
So unfortunately, there's going to be a lot of shows I can't explain, but
All right.
I can try. It sounds like this is a show about somebody that's a teenager that's a robot trying to fit into society, maybe? I don't know.
Okay, hold on. Let me do
Search it up. Google search. Wikipedia.
All right.
That's where I am right now.
So, all right, 2003 came out.
3 seasons.
3 seasons. When your main objective in life is to be the Earth's protector, other wants and needs of a typical teenager just have to wait. So goes the life of Jenny Wakerman, a sensitive high schooler who also happens to be a state-of-the-art robot called XJ9. So, all right. Good luck with that, Ma.
Sounds like a boring show. I mean, in my opinion.
So, all right. So, somebody is a little. I'm not going to say jealous, but somebody kind of wishes that they would have gotten Paw Patrol instead. But that is the way the wheel works.
We should have like, if we had everybody actually like pay attention to their divisions and run them like a real thing, we could have allowed trades.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, this is fun too. So, all right.
I'm not denying that. I'm just
Yeah.
saying, maybe future reference.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Last one for Mom, Sue Hummer. All right, this one I think she's gonna like.
That's another good one.
All right, one of the more famous Disney animated shows. It follows Scrooge McDuck and his three great nephews, Huey, Dewey, and Louie. Their other uncle, or Scrooge's other nephew, Donald, is about to join the army. So he leaves Huey, Dewey, and Louie to the care of Scrooge, and they get into some misadventures. Also, part of the show is Scrooge's personal pilot, Launchpad. So it is a good show. Again, one of the more famous Disney cartoons. The one that put the one that put probably the Disney afternoon cartoon block on the map. But yeah, so DuckTales is the last pick for Mom. So she has, let's see, who does she have? Paw Patrol, Demon Slayer, My Life as a Teenage Robot, and DuckTales.
Two good ones and two meh.
I don't know. DuckTales might
Demon
be
Slayer's pretty good.
A sneaky one. Demon Slayer too.
Demon Slayer and DuckTales, I think, are what's really gonna help her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you got a lot of parents, they'll know what Paw Patrol is.
Well, I'm pretty sure she does.
Oh, I'm sure she does.
Yeah. So all right. So we did two more. So we have 7. So 7 people already have their divisions drawn. That means we have 54 to go. Sean is already ready to leave. Sean is already ready to leave. He is packing up his car.
Yep.
So we're going to let him do that. We're going to sign off. Again, congratulations to Batman the Animated Series for winning the Cartoon Classic. Next week, we're probably going to continue the drafting. We're going to do a pre-record that's going to be released later on in the week, where we're just going to do drafting. But yeah, so the next few weeks is probably going to be just mostly drafts. But remember, make sure to like and subscribe to the Toons Combine YouTube channel, the Stabcast with Dangle and Mindy, Eric's Unscripted Sports Show, the Wrestling Through the Years podcast. You can see Dave on Twitch at TCAX Godsend 95, Sean at TCAX Reaper on Twitch and TikTok. He doesn't have it at the bottom of his screen, so I'm just kind of winging it.
Not today.
Huh?
I don't have it on there today.
Yeah. So, all right. So Sean's got a 6-hour drive ahead of him, so we're going to shut up and we're going to let him go.
Hi, Sean.
And then Dave will see you in the other chat room in about 5-10 minutes.
Sounds good.
All right.
Cool.
You want to have yourself a safe drive home.
Thank you. Nice
And we'll see everybody next week.
All right. Have a good one, guys.
Later.